And this is one that has really taken the internet by storm. And it is official at this time. We know that the CEO has officially resigned amid this incident, according to the company.
Kristin Cabot has stepped down from her role as Chief People Officer at Astronomer after a video of her and former CEO Andy Byron went viral. The clip, captured during a Coldplay concert, showed the two sharing an embrace on the venue's kiss cam. Astronomer has confirmed her resignation.
It didn't start with a kiss. It started with a flinch. One tiny, awkward twitch on a stadium jumbotron that set the internet on fire and sent a billion-dollar tech empire into freefall. In the span of just a few days, Astronomer's CEO walked away from his throne, his HR chief vanished from LinkedIn, and a wife quietly erased her husband's last name in the coldest silent breakup the internet has ever seen. But here's the thing, what you saw on that Coldplay kiss cam wasn't the scandal. It was the spark. The real fire? That's been burning behind boardroom doors for months, in whispered conversations, suspicious promotions, and messages that some say were never meant to be seen. And according to insiders, what's leaked so far is only the tip of the iceberg. It was supposed to be just another unforgettable night. A sold-out stadium in Boston, Coldplay tearing up the stage, and a kiss cam drifting lazily over the crowd to catch goofy smiles and sweet PDA. Then it landed on two people who were anything but strangers to each other, or to the company they ran. Andy Byron, the high-powered CEO of AI rising star Astronomer, sitting next to Kristin Cabot, the company's chief people officer. For 15 long seconds, thousands of concert-goers and millions online watched a silent, awkward dance. She leaned in. He pulled back. His face tightened. And the jumbotron froze that moment in time like a courtroom exhibit. Within hours, a TikTok clip from an account that seemed to know exactly who they were hit the internet. The captions didn't just name names, they dropped job titles, pointed out that both were married, and ended with a dagger-sharp line, "That's going to be one awkward board meeting." By morning, the video had cleared 53 million views. Reddit was dissecting every frame, and the first rumors of a deeper story began to surface. The kiss cam moment wasn't a one-off accident. Some claimed it was the public's first glimpse of an open secret that had been simmering inside Astronomer for months. And that's where the real damage began. It didn't take long for internet detectives to notice something strange. The very first account to post that viral clip wasn't some random concert-goer. It looked like someone who worked at Astronomer. The post didn't just casually mention Andy and Kristin. It spelled out Kristin's exact HR title, flagged that both execs were married, and hinted, almost smugly, that the kiss cam moment was only the beginning. That kind of precision doesn't come from a fan in the nosebleeds. It comes from an insider with a front-row seat to the drama. According to people claiming to be former employees, whispers about Byron and Kit had been floating around the company for months. Slack messages with a little too much frequency. Private meetings that didn't fit their roles. And a hiring process for Kristin so fast it bypassed normal corporate hoops entirely. One anonymous ex-staffer went viral with a single quote. It felt like the company was being run by two people in their own bubble, and everyone else was just along for the ride. It spread across Reddit and X like wildfire, racking up thousands of shares. And while no screenshots or smoking gun receipts have surfaced yet, insiders swear the real evidence still lives on Astronomer's servers. Emails, Slack threads, even performance review files Kristin allegedly had no business accessing. If those leak, or worse, get subpoenaed, the fallout could make the kiss cam moment look like a warm-up act. But the most telling reaction wasn't from Andy or Kristin. It came from someone much closer to the blast zone. As the story gained momentum online, the kiss cam clip stopped being the focus, and the behind-the-scenes whispers took center stage. Former staffers began piecing together a timeline that painted a much more complicated picture. Kristin Cabot's arrival at Astronomer had already raised eyebrows. Hired just 8 months before the scandal, she reportedly skipped the usual hiring process. No drawn-out interviews, no competitive search, just a fast track straight into one of the most powerful positions in the company. And once she was in, she wasn't just running HR. She was suddenly showing up in strategy meetings, product roadmap sessions, and even board prep calls, rooms where HR had no real business being. To some, it looked like collaboration. To others, it looked like the CEO and his HR chief operating in their own private bubble. Then came the rumors about Slack threads, long message chains with a tone that felt far more personal than professional. Insiders claim those threads still sit on company servers, and if they're ever pulled for legal review, they could reveal just how far the favoritism went. Whether the rumors are true or not, one thing is clear: this wasn't just about a public kiss cam. It was about power. Who had it, how it was used, and who paid the price when lines got blurred. For some astronomer employees, that price came fast. At least 2 former staffers have since claimed they were pushed out of the company after raising concerns about the Byron Kit dynamic. One says their role was mysteriously eliminated just weeks after they flagged favoritism in a private Slack channel. Another claims they were bumped off a key project at Kristin's request and then shown the door. Others described what they called a toxic inner circle at the top. It wasn't just about professional boundaries, it was about fear. Employees allegedly avoided saying the wrong thing around Kristin, not because she was head of HR, but because she was seen as untouchable. And then came the gag orders. After the Coldplay incident blew up, insiders say all-hands meetings were abruptly canceled and a company-wide email went out telling staff to forward any press questions to legal and to keep their mouths shut in internal chats. Publicly, astronomers' leadership said nothing. Privately, LinkedIn profiles were wiped, the leadership page disappeared from the company website, and the people at the center of it all went completely dark. But as the silence dragged on, the rumors only grew louder, and for Astronomer, the fallout was just getting started. While Astronomer's board scrambled behind closed doors, the person with the coldest, sharpest move wasn't in a boardroom at all. It was Andy Byron's wife, Megan Karayan. Sources say Megan found out the same way the rest of us did scrolling TikTok. No warning. No late-night confession. No, we need to talk text. Just the kiss cam moment, plastered on her screen for millions to see. And yet, there was no public meltdown. No cryptic quotes. No messy Instagram rants. Instead, she went nuclear in the quietest way possible. Within 24 hours, she stripped Byron from her last name on every social profile. No explanation. No statement. Just a silent rebrand so icy the internet crowned her the queen of the soft launch divorce. Fans flooded her comments with praise. "Go Megan" started trending. Memes celebrated her restraint, with some even calling it the most savage breakup move of the decade. And for those reading between the lines, her quiet move spoke louder than any public rant ever could. Lawyers might already be involved. One source pointed to how fast her LinkedIn went private and how every photo of Andy vanished from her feeds overnight. Meanwhile, Andy himself? Allegedly staying far from home. Some say he's holed up in another state while Astronomer's PR team tries to keep the bleeding under control. But Megan's ice-cold name drop wasn't the only sign this story was bigger than a stadium flinch. Weeks before that Coldplay night, there were already sightings, ones that are now being recast as the prelude to this entire implosion. Once the kiss cam clip exploded, the internet did what it does best: rewind, dig, and connect dots nobody thought to connect before. Suddenly, reports began surfacing of Andy Byron and Kristin Kit showing up together at multiple events weeks before the Coldplay concert. Back then, nobody gave it a second thought. Now, those moments feel like the first breadcrumbs in a much bigger trail. One viral post claimed they were spotted leaving a high-profile tech leadership summit in San Francisco together in late May. Another alleged sighting put them side by side at a swanky charity gala just 2 weeks before the concert, laughing, leaning in close, and looking more like a couple than co-workers. And then came the most curious detail yet: the third person in the infamous Coldplay clip. Reports suggest the woman seated next to Kristin that night was actually her assistant. According to one HR insider, she wasn't just there for fun. She was allegedly brought along as a human shield, a chaperone in case anyone recognized the two executives. The implication? Andy and Kristin weren't unlucky victims of a random camera pan. They were trying to hide in plain sight. But when the kiss cam zoomed in, Andy froze, and that single flinch flipped their quiet cover-up into a full-blown corporate catastrophe. And the ripple effect wasn't just personal, it was about to shake astronomers' entire foundation. The kiss cam drama might have played out in seconds, but the corporate fallout hit astronomer like a wrecking ball. Within days, Andy Byron's resignation was official. Kristin Cabot's LinkedIn was scrubbed to nothing. The company's leadership page vanished entirely, like they were trying to erase two people from history. Behind the scenes, it was chaos. Interim CEO Pete DeJoy was suddenly in non-stop closed-door meetings, trying to calm nervous investors and convince them astronomers' core product was still worth betting on. But the optics were brutal, two of the company's most senior leaders taken out by a scandal that was now trending worldwide. And the financial hit wasn't just a fear, it was already starting. A marketing insider claimed at least one major client was quietly rethinking their renewal. Another said brand partnerships had hit pause. Nobody wants their logo parked next to a cheating scandal, the source said flatly. Meanwhile, Astronomers' board wasn't just replacing a CEO. They were fighting a PR wildfire with gasoline-soaked hands. Reports leaked that external consultants had been brought in to investigate not only Andy and Kristin's relationship, but the company's entire HR infrastructure. Every firing, every mutual exit, every NDA in the last year was now under review. And the more the board dug, the more it looked like the Coldplay flinch was just the front page of a much uglier story. For all the noise online, the two people at the center of the storm haven't said a single word. No denial. No apology. Not even a no comment. Insiders say that's not an accident. The silence could be legal NDAs, pending investigations, or even preparation for shareholder lawsuits. One source claimed both Andy and Kristin were advised to stay dark while lawyers figure out just how bad this could get. But the longer they say nothing, the more the internet fills in the blanks. On TikTok, the narrative has already shifted. It's not just an affair scandal anymore. It's an alleged abuse of power wrapped in HR policy. Reddit threads accuse Kristin of having veto power over internal complaints, including one whistleblower report just last quarter. Others claim she had access to performance reviews and salary data she shouldn't have touched. No receipts have leaked yet, but rumors of screenshots are everywhere. Slack threads, email chains, even archived org charts being dissected like crime scene evidence. And if any of it surfaces, it could turn this messy PR disaster into a legal nightmare. Meanwhile, Astronomers' interim leadership insists the company is back to business as usual. But investors aren't buying it. Clients aren't buying it. And the public? They're definitely not buying it. Because at this point, the story isn't just about a kiss cam. It's about what that moment exposed. In the end, the Coldplay kiss cam wasn't just a viral clip, it was the spark that lit up a story of power, secrecy, and corporate self-destruction. A single flinch on a jumbotron ripped open months of whispered rumors, questionable promotions, and silent exits. It took down a CEO, erased an HR chief, and left a billion-dollar company scrambling to convince the world it still had control. But here's the thing, nobody really knows where this ends. Will those alleged Slack messages ever surface? Will former employees break their NDAs? Will Astronomer survive the hit to its reputation before an IPO is even on the table? For now, the only thing certain is the image burned into everyone's mind. A packed stadium, a camera searching for smiles, a CEO freezing in his seat, and the moment that turned a love song into a corporate extinction-level event. What's your take? Was this just office gossip spun out of control, or the tip of a much deeper corporate scandal?